Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in. Today, we're tackling a fantastic topic, a B1 plus grammar and vocabulary guide that's all about narratives and celebrations. Think of this as your ultimate survival guide. We're going to get you ready to tell the absolute best, most chaotic wedding or party story without stumbling over those tricky intermediate English errors. By the end of this, you're going to be a master storyteller. Let's get into it.
So picture this. Have you ever been right in the middle of telling this amazing, hilarious story about a weekend party? The whole room is hanging on your every word, and suddenly, your brain just completely freezes. You accidentally say something like, "We go to the reception" instead of "we went." Yeah, it happens to the best of us. It's an incredibly common storytelling trap. When we're talking fast and excited, it's so easy to slip back into the present tense or just invent a completely wrong word form. But hey, don't sweat it, because after today, those mistakes are going to be a thing of the past.
Here's our quick roadmap for today's storyteller's journey. First up, we've got planning with future clauses. Second, wedding vocabulary. Third, phrasal verbs for accidents. Fourth, mastering irregular past verbs. And finally, number 5, natural word choice.
All right, kicking things off with section 1, planning with future clauses, or getting to the wedding. Listen to this really common mistake. If I will have enough time, I'll join you. Now, the correct way to actually say this is, if I have enough time, I'll join you. The rule here is super short but absolutely crucial. After a condition word, words like if, when, or as soon as, you have to use a present tense to talk about the future. You've got to keep the word will completely out of that part of the sentence.
And this brings us to a brilliant little trick I like to call the find the will trick. Basically, think of the word will as a really demanding wedding guest. This guest only gets one seat at the table. Will can only sit in one half of your sentence, usually the main clause. The other half, the one that starts with your condition word, like when or if, well, that one's got to stay in the present tense. So it's I will text you when I am free, not when I will be free. Just remember, give will exactly one seat.
Moving right along to section 2, the wedding day vocabulary, where we set the scene. Now, to tell a killer story, you need to know your cast of characters, right? Let's mentally drop these people into our chaotic wedding scenario. First, you've got the bride, the woman getting married. The groom is the man getting married. Put them together and they are the newlyweds. Then you have the master of ceremonies, usually just called the MC, who is basically the host running the show and announcing everything. After the actual ceremony, everybody heads to the meal and party, which is called the reception. And finally, that glorious holiday the couple takes right after, that's the honeymoon.
Okay, let's pair those characters up with some essential actions. Instead of just saying they got married, which is a bit boring, you can say the couple tied the knot. At the reception, we didn't just say nice things, we wished the newlyweds well. The best man stood up, clinked his glass, and made a toast, or proposed a toast. And finally, they left for their honeymoon. Slapping these phrases together with our new vocabulary makes your story pop instantly. It just sounds so much more vivid. On to section 3, phrasal verbs for accidents. Because let's face it, things always go wrong. English can be incredibly specific sometimes. Take the phrase trip over. This specifically means to catch your foot on something and stumble. The huge key here is that trip over requires a physical object. Imagine our MC from earlier. He is confidently walking across the stage to announce the first dance, and boom, he trips over a microphone wire. He caught his foot on an actual physical object. Now, compare that to our next phrasal verb, fall over. This just means to lose your balance and drop to the ground. See the difference? Fall over doesn't require an object at all. It's literally just gravity taking over. So, back to our clumsy MC. You can trip over a wire and then fall over. You don't fall over a wire. You trip over it, and because of that, you fall over. Make sense? Here's another super tricky pair that catches people out all the time. Take apart versus fall apart. Look, take apart is something you do on purpose. Like, maybe you take apart a really complicated wedding gift to see how it works or to shove some batteries in it. But fall apart? That happens slowly, completely on its own, usually because something is just in terrible shape. Imagine a giant, beautiful wedding cake sitting in the hot sun all day. It might just fall apart right there on the table. The meaning, not how the words sound, has to be your guide here. All right, section 4, mastering irregular past verbs, which is essential for actually telling the tale. This brings us right back to that storytelling trap we talked about right at the start. The absolute most common, most useful verbs in English are irregular. They completely change their shape in the past tense.
Let's do a really quick self-test. Say these past tense forms aloud with me. Came, went, took, fell, brought, flew. Did you hesitate on any of those? If you did, that specific verb just needs a little more practice. We've got to train our brains to stop making up words like falled or bringed. The only cure is just drilling these forms until they're totally automatic. But hey, I've got a piece of absolutely wonderful news that should boost your confidence. Memorize this golden rule. The past simple form never changes for he, she, or it. That's right. Present tense has all those annoying S endings you have to remember. But in the past simple, I went, she went, they went, it is always just went. It is the most comforting rule in all of English grammar, for sure.
Finally, Section 5. Sounding completely natural. This is the final polish. The big takeaway here is all about choosing the words that native speakers naturally reach for. Instead of saying you went by foot to the party, the natural phrase is on foot. Instead of wish someone good, we say wish someone well. And look, while saying the wedding cost a big amount of money isn't strictly wrong grammatically, saying it cost a large sum just sounds vastly more natural, maybe a little more polished. Oh, and remember our past participles. After you've been dancing all night long, your shoes aren't weird out, they are worn out.
And this leads us perfectly into our last language tip. What if two of the guests at this crazy reception really hit it off? You might say they start dating or start to date. Now, grammatically, after the word start, you can use either the ing form or to. Both are totally fine. But when you are actually gossiping about a new relationship, start dating is definitely the far more natural choice. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground today. To make sure all of this actually sticks in your brain, here is a practical 4-step action plan for your study guide. Step 1, read a section in the guide. Step 2, knock out the matching task on your worksheet and press check. Step 3, look at your results. If you spot any red or amber items, bounce back to the tables we just reviewed. And step 4, download your answer report and review those exact incorrect items first. It's literally going to show you exactly where to focus your attention next time. Easy, right? And that wraps up our explainer for today. You are officially equipped. You've got the vocabulary, the phrasal verbs, the bulletproof past simple forms, and those supernatural collocations to describe any event flawlessly. You even know how to keep will locked out of your future planning clauses. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. What unforgettable, grammatically flawless story are you going to tell about your next big celebration? Get out there, experience something wild, and confidently tell everyone every single detail. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and happy learning!